Student engagement, it's one of the biggest puzzles in education, right? Why is it that some students are just on fire in the classroom while others seem to drift away? And figuring that out, well, that's the whole ballgame. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful study that might have just cracked the code.
So why do so many students just check out? It's a huge question, one that keeps educators up at night. For a lot of students, motivation doesn't actually grow over time, it fades. And that's not some small thing. It's a massive, expensive problem for everyone involved.
I mean, the scale of this is just wow. Get this. In the US, 40% of college students never get that degree. Let that sink in for a second. That's 4 out of every 10 students who walk on the campus for the first time, but won't be there to walk across the stage at the end.
And hey, this isn't just a US thing. It's happening everywhere. You look at Europe, rates are up to 35%. In India, it's over 12%. We're talking millions and millions of students. So it's clear everyone, everywhere is looking for the same answer.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll look at the puzzle, dig into the study that cracked the motivation code, talk about something called boosters versus guzzlers, see the study's impact, and then wrap up with a key to unlocking engagement.
Okay, so where's the answer? Well, it might just be hiding in this fantastic 2022 study from the journal Helion. A team of researchers, including a data scientist named Dr. Kartikeya Bholar, really decided to get to the bottom of this relationship between what motivates a student and how engaged they actually are.
And here's the big idea they came up with. Motivation, they said, is an antecedent of engagement. Now, antecedent is just a fancy way of saying it has to come first. You can't just jump to engagement. Motivation is the fuel. It's the starting block. And that one little shift in thinking, it changes everything.
And you better believe they backed this up with some serious data. They surveyed almost 700 university students. Dr. Bholar was the one who spearheaded the really complex data analysis, using this powerful technique to basically map out the entire landscape of student motivation. By blending 2 big psychological theories, they built this incredible model that could pinpoint exactly what lights a fire under a student and what puts it out.
And out of all that deep data work came this really simple but super powerful idea. Basically, for every student, there are these 2 opposing forces, things that build up motivation and things that just drain it away. They came up with a great name for them, boosters and guzzlers. It's a really straightforward concept, but so effective. On the one hand, you've got your boosters. Think of things like self-efficacy. That's just that gut feeling that, hey, I can do this. Plus practical skills like planning and sticking with it. And on the other side, the guzzlers. These are the things that drain your tank. Anxiety, that crippling fear of failure, and all those self-sabotaging habits we fall into. But here's where it gets really interesting. When Dr. Bholar and the team dug into the numbers, they found a surprising twist about the boosters. It turns out the most powerful boosters weren't just about thinking positive thoughts. Nope, they were about taking positive actions. I'm talking about the nitty-gritty stuff, actually planning out your assignments, managing your time, and pushing through when things get tough. And the data on this? It's crystal clear. In their statistical model, these positive actions had a massive impact score. It's called a beta coefficient of 0.60. Now, in this kind of research, anything over 0.5 is considered a huge deal. So 0.6? That's off the charts. It means these actions are the single biggest thing driving student engagement, period. All right, now let's flip to the other side of the coin, the guzzlers. These are the nasty little thoughts and habits that actively work against you. You know the feeling, that intense anxiety before a big test, or being so afraid to fail you don't even start. And of course, the big one, procrastination. The researchers had a great term for it, self-handicapping. It's so true, right? And get this, their impact is just as massive, but it pulls you in the complete opposite direction. The guzzlers clocked in with an impact score of negative 0.54. Again, that is a huge effect. So these things aren't just minor roadblocks. They are actively draining your motivation and pulling you away from success.
Okay, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. The team compared the power of positive thoughts, like I believe in myself, to the power of positive actions. Positive thinking did help, it had an impact score of 0.3, but the positive actions, they had a score of 0.6. That is literally double the impact. The bottom line is crystal clear. What you do matters twice as much as what you merely think.
So these findings are obviously huge, and they started making some serious waves in the academic community pretty much right away. And we can actually measure a study's impact.
For this paper, the numbers show that researchers all over the world are reading it, citing it, and putting it to work.
It all starts with this number, 2.49. This is something called the paper's citation impact score. Think of it like a grade for how influential a paper is in its field. A score of 1 is average. So what's a 2.49 mean? It's incredible. It means other academics are referencing this paper almost 150% more than the worldwide average for similar research. So this study didn't just get noticed, it became a major conversation starter.
Let me put that another way. The number of times this paper has been cited puts it in the 91st percentile. That means it's in the top 9% of the most cited, most talked about research in its entire field. When you see a number like that, it's basically the entire academic world shouting, hey, pay attention to this.
But, being a big deal in academic circles is one thing. The real magic of this study is that it isn't just theory. It gives us a practical tool that teachers, mentors, and even students themselves can use. And this is where Dr. Buller and his team really delivered, turning all that data into something actionable.
And that key is this simple 2x2 grid. Just by figuring out if a student is high or low on boosters and high or low on guzzlers, a teacher can instantly get a snapshot of their motivational profile. It lets them stop giving that generic, you should study more advice and really see what a particular student needs to thrive.
This is exactly how you turn all that heavy research into real-world results. So, a teacher can spot a student's cluster. Let's say they have low boosters, but are overloaded with guzzlers. Now, instead of just saying, try harder, they can offer specific, targeted help. Maybe it's coaching on how to manage anxiety and practical tips for managing their tasks. It's a custom-fit solution that actually builds a path toward engagement. So all of this leaves us with one final and kind of personal question. When you think about it, what's really in the driver's seat of your own success? Is it your boosters or your guzzlers? Is it the positive actions you're taking or the negative thoughts and habits holding you back? The answer to that? Well, that might just be the key to cracking your own code.